Mr. Schuster's on his way up. You can wait in the other office now if you like, Stephen.
Thank you for your display of trust, Mrs. Allison.
It was a long lunch hour. I better not get used to Mrs. Chernak's cuisine.
A little relaxation will do you good. You have a busy schedule this afternoon, and Stephen Court's waiting to see you.
Without an appointment?
Well, he said it wasn't on business. It's a personal matter.
Hello again.
Hello. Sit down.
Lately, it seems that I spend more time here than I do in my own office.
Well, what can I do for you, Stephen?
What can I do for you, Mr. Schuster?
Well, if you've come to offer your services in taking my report to Martin Peyton again,
Once burned, twice shy.
But you have come to offer something, is that it?
Yes.
Well, my instinct is to ask you what? I'm going to ask you why.
I read your report again. Carefully and with an open mind. I agree with it.
Why did you say that this morning?
My position with Mr. Dowell is rather awkward, as I'm sure you realize. Because I come directly from and through Martin Peyton.
Does Mr. Dowell know you're here?
Oh, yes, he does, sir. As a matter of fact, I asked his permission to express my thoughts to you. He felt it would be a good idea.
Well, Mr. Dowell is an exceptional man.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And I respect his opinion.
Well, I do too, Mr. Schuster. But in this particular case, his arguments are weak. They're based on personal feelings, not facts.
And you can't let that influence you.
Can you? The mill is losing money. There are many ways to solve the problem. Some you haven't even considered.
You know, I once characterized you as an ambitious man. But that wasn't meant as a slur or an attack, but simply a reflection of what I saw.
I'd be a liar and a fool if I denied that, Mr. Schuster.
No sin. I admire your candor. What do you hope to get out of backing me?
The satisfaction of knowing that I'm working in every way possible for Martin Peyton's interests.
Nothing more?
Good scrap, maybe. In a town like Peyton Place, they can be few and far between.
Well, I guess you're used to a faster pace. Important clients, intrigue.
I'd say the same thing about you, Mr. Schuster. So perhaps we have more in common than most people would realize at first glance.
Well, perhaps we do.
And what can I do to help?
You're leading the witness. I'll tell you what, we're having a dinner party Friday night. Can you come?
With my social calendar, I can come Thursday.
Well, I think Friday will be time enough. That will give me time to sort my thoughts. About 8?
Fine.
You know, when my wife first asked you, frankly, I opposed the idea.
Well, that's an odd thing to admit, coming on the heels of your invitation.
Well, if we're going to be candid, I think everything should be out in the open. And I think we both should remember that, so that we can avoid any possible misunderstandings. I'll talk to you more Friday.
Why did you tell Rita to come see me?
I can't seem to get her to do anything these days.
Well, I can't diagnose if I can't see it.
Doctor, would you call her? Tell her to come in. She won't like to refuse you.
What are you trying to tell me?
Well, something happened.
The night we had that first summer storm. Elliot Carson brought her home. I could tell from her face that she was upset, but Norman was there, so she wouldn't talk. Then I got Elliot to tell me. He'd caught Joe Chernak trying to make her go along with him in his car.
Was she hurt?
No, just scared, but she's afraid of Joe.
Well, I thought that was all over. I thought she was going with Norman Harrington.
Norm asked her to the graduation dance. She was acting strange even before she left. You know, all excited one minute, down the next. She goes to the dressmaker, happy as a clam, and comes back with her face longer than her hem. She wouldn't even talk to me. Locked herself in her room. And ever since, she's been acting strange. I'm not much of a mother, but believe me, I can tell when something's wrong.
Excuse me. Hello? Yes, this is Dr. Allison. Yes. Yes, I see.
Rita, Norman stopped by the shop yesterday to ask Mr. Carson what really happened the night that he took you home. He asked about Joe Chernak.
Well, what did Mr. Carson tell him?
Nothing.
You know, don't you?
Yes.
Then it's not much of a secret.
Well, I haven't spoken to anyone, and I won't. Mr. Carson maybe shouldn't have told me, but he was so concerned about you, Rita, and he still is.
Well, you can tell him everything's fine. Just fine.
If there has been trouble with Joe Chernak.
Who said that?
Well, if there has been trouble, I don't mean to interfere, but I do think I could help you.
Mrs. Carson, you can't help me.
Don't be silly. Maybe I can. Whatever happened?
Nothing happened.
Whatever happened?
I told you nothing happened. Except... You don't understand, Mrs. Carson. Joe kissed me. And when he kissed me, I started to... For a moment, I didn't want to stop. Just for a second. But I can't forget that. Could always happen again. I'm really just no good.
I don't believe that. A kiss and how you felt about it. It's not worth ruining your life. And it's no reason to give up Norman.
That's because you don't know.
Don't I? For 18 years, I felt the way you do. And because of it, I've lived a lie. I protected my daughter from the truth about her father. And in the end, she learned about it anyway.
Well, at least you had the satisfaction of knowing you'd done it for her.
But it wasn't just for Allison. It was more than that. It was my guilt. It was my fear of public shame. When I was your age, I was already a mother. And my child had no name. She was born in a charity ward at Bellevue. On a day that, if things had turned out differently, I was supposed to be a bridesmaid at my best friend's wedding. All the girls I grew up with were just on the threshold of everything. For me, life seemed to be over. And it needn't have been that way. Oh, Rita, my youth, my loneliness. It was all such a waste. I know that now. You can't change the past by pretending it didn't happen. And you can't let it ruin the future because it did. Every day is a chance for a new beginning. If you have the courage to make it one.
Well, I used to believe that.
Why don't you think that now?
Well, when he touched me, when he grabbed me and kissed me. Joe knew the score. You can scrub yourself clean, and you can buy a book and change your hair and your makeup and the way you talk. But you can't change the way people remember you.
That is over and done with.
from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
It's a toy that will allow you $110,000 a year to cure the sick. Well, which is more important, to cure the sick or to see to it your brother doesn't have his toy?
Well, that's a philosophy of fear. Don't try anything, that way you can't fail. I think we owe ourselves and Allison more than that.
Marry him.
I said we are just friends.
You can't go wrong. Marry him.